Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. It's Joseph yet again. Today I'm going to be presenting with you Palmiera, the Oasis. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of context, I have made a separate video regarding Oasis in general, but before I dive into Palmiera in of itself, which is a subcluster in Oasis, I'm going to give you a 2-minute summary. So just to start off with, we'll first start off with who the developer is, which is Emaar. Now, we know Emaar has one of the strongest track records ever in Dubai. They are responsible for downtown, Dubai Marina, Arabian Ranches, Dubai Hills Estate, and all of Emirates Living. Right now they've got projects ongoing like the Valley, Arabian Ranches 3, and the Oasis in of itself, including Emaar South. So when we talk about any developer in general, especially when looking at an investment standpoint, we always have to look at the track record. Does the track record make sense? Has the developer ever even made any projects that have made money? So in this conclusion, it is most definitely. I'll tell you why. First of all, we've got El Isaba in Arabian Ranches 3. These were 5 beds, initially launched for 6.4 million in 2022, now recently sold for 9.5 million dirhams. Or Sidra in Dubai Hills Estate, which is also a very famous community in Dubai. This was initially launched in 2017 for 4.2 million and now recently sold for 11.3 million. But the craziest of all is this one right here. Now this is arguably the most famous community in all of Dubai, which is also known as Emirates Living, specifically Meadows. Now, Meadows was actually launched, specifically Meadows 7, this villa right here, was actually launched for 1.3 million dirhams. It's a 5-bedroom, right? You can't find that anywhere else nowadays. It was initially launched by Emaar for 1.3 million and now recently sold for 22.2 million dirhams. And that is one of the most staggering results, especially in terms of investment, that I've probably ever seen in Dubai, especially when you can get a 5-bed villa for this cheap. So whenever we talk about the Oasis and the developer of itself, we can definitely give it a check, right? The developer definitely stands out. So when we talk about the location, this is actually where the Oasis by Emaar actually is. It's this 100 million square foot plot right here. Right here, we've actually got Sheikh Hamdan Street. Here we've got Emirates Road, and here we've got Jebel Ali Street, right? And in addition, when we look to close, communities nearby, we obviously got Jumeirah Golf Estates. We got Tilal Al-Qaf right here. Can't really see it, but we need to zoom in. Right here, we've got Tilal Al-Qaf. And right here, we also have the Damak Lagoons. If we zoom in a little bit, we would be able to see it. Yeah, the Damak Lagoons, right? So it is located in, some people would speculate and say that it's a bit far away, which is kind of true. But we also have to realize that most of Dubai is building more towards the south, since this area from Sheikh Zayed Road and Al Khail Road onwards has actually, most of the plots have already been bought and already been developed. So the future of Dubai is coming towards this end, right? Below Al Khail Road and between Sheikh Hamdan Street and Emirates Road, right? And this is, all about the Oasis. In addition, I want to add something very unique, is that Emaar initially launched this community with a plan to have 7,000 villas. Well, now they have reduced it to 3,100 villas, which just goes to show how much now these villas are a lot more exclusive. And whenever we talk about increasing property prices, we know that it really just comes down to demand and supply. And guess what? If you have lower amount of supply and there's a demand, sellers are more likely to take advantage of this and increase property prices on handover. In addition to that, I want to show you a little bit about Palmiera in of itself. As I showed you from this Google Maps, this is how the whole Oasis is going to look like, from this line onwards precisely. And this is the sub-community Palmiera. Palmiera in of itself has 265 villas. 16 of them are 4-bed villas. 49 of them are 5-bed villas. We've got chamfered, classical, and contemporary. There is a difference between all these three. In addition to that, all of the 5 beds are practically on the lagoons. There's only 2 villas that aren't. And now we're going to dive into the specific analytics of Palmiera in of itself. But before I do that, just for a quick minute, I need to just describe the sub-community in of itself. These are the lagoons, as we can see right here. And these villas are directly on the lagoon, which are, of course, a lot more premium. Right here, we've got a mosque. Here, we've got like a mini beach area. We've got a lagoon, we've got a community center. Here we've got a bunch of retail, and this right here is the entryway with the sports facility right here, which is labeled as H. And right here, we're also gonna have a school, but to be honest, we don't know really if it's confirmed yet, even what school it's gonna be. but this is the general master plan for Palmiera 1 in the Oasis. Now let's dig into the actual numbers. In addition to that, I forgot to mention that this is the Dubai Hills, price per square foot over the years. As we can see, after COVID, which was right here, it has jumped up by almost 100% in capital appreciation, which just goes to show that a community that is built by Emaar really has a lot of room for capital appreciation, especially when it's still an off-plan. Now, we'll be talking about Palmiera launch, which was initially launched, as I already mentioned, in September 2023 to today's date, which is March 14 of 2025. So Palmiera comprises of 4 beds and 5 beds. There are 4 beds on the lagoon. There's 4 beds not on the lagoon, but majority of 5 beds are on the lagoon except for 2 villas. And when we initially look at the starting prices, the starting price for a 4 bed in Palmiera was 8.5 million, whereas a 4 bed on the lagoon was started at 10 million, and a 5 bed on the lagoon was started at 12.9 million. And the plot for Palmiera has probably, is probably one of the biggest plots that we're ever going to see from Emaar, right? As already mentioned, a lot of these meadows, these Emirates living communities that I mentioned, like meadows and the lakes, actually their plots are a lot smaller. The average plot there even goes upwards to 7,000, but it doesn't touch anywhere the region of 10,000, except very, very premium villas, like in Hamdan and the lakes, right? And when we just look at the built-up and the plot, we can also calculate the average price per square foot on the plot, which for a 4-bed standard was 1,070, 1,200 for a 4-bed on the lagoon, and 1,650 approximately for all of these values with the average price per square foot. In addition to that, this is today's date right here at the bottom. Here we've got a 4-bed now, which is 9.6 million, and the average price per square foot is 1,130. The average price per square foot for a 4-bed on the lagoon is 1,300, and the average price per square foot now for a 5-bed on the lagoon is 1,770. But just like any other investment, you guys probably saw my Gulf Woods video, we always have to compare this to a similar community that is existing today. And the 2 that came most across my mind were the lakes and meadows, which were also built by Emaar. Although these villas, can we say, that are on the lake, you cannot technically swim in the lake, but they are still premium villas that are waterfront. So let me dive into that. First, we'll go over the Palmiera versus the lakes. Now, the lakes is also very close to Emirates Living, technically connected, but it's not classified as Emirates Living. We've got 4 beds and 5 beds, right? This is Palmiera at the top, and at the bottom, we've got the lakes, okay? From the last slide, we already know that in today's market, the price for a 4-bed average price per square foot is 1,300, whereas a 5-bed is 1,770. However, for the lakes, which is a villa that is facing directly on the lake, right? The price per square foot is 2,350. Now, this is almost double the price for a villa that is 20 years old, way older than Palmiera. And let's be honest, the finishing isn't quite there, right? So when we look at it from the price per square foot sense, Palmiera is a lot cheaper than when it comes to the lakes. And I do also want to mention this part right here. 5 beds are very exclusive in the lakes. In fact, there were a few very, very big 5 beds on the lake, specifically at Hamdan 1, but the issue was that these prices were fluctuating up to 32 million. So it was a bit hard to get the average price per square foot. But when we specifically looked at Mayin, which is a sub-community in the lakes, the average price per square foot for, let's say, an old villa that is facing the lake is going for 2,400. Now, I'll also be talking about Palmiera versus the lakes, but normal villas not facing the lagoon. Now, the reason why they include 5 beds because basically all of them do face the lagoon. So we've got 4 beds, 9.6 million, average price per square foot, yet again, 1,130. And when we look at the lakes for an average 4 bed, the price per square foot is 1,780, whilst the 5 bed is 2,370. Yet again, I'm going to come to this side just to illustrate a bit better. Yet again, guys, price per square foot of entry in the Oasis, a lot lower for a newer villa compared to the lakes. Now, we will be talking about Meadows, which is also a premium community located in Emirates Living. Yet again, 4 bed, it's 1,300. That's my mistake. I meant to put 1,300. 1,770 for a 5 bed. and 2,900 for meadows directly on the lake. 4-bed, 2,100 AED per square foot for a 5-bed directly on the lake. Yet again, we have to do comparables with the ones that are not on the lake. 1,300, 1,100, sorry. And here we've got 1,400. Here we've got 1,000, approximately up to 1,700 per square foot with these villas. And now we also want to dive into the average rental yield in the lakes versus meadows. Now, these numbers right here seem absolutely ridiculous. These statistics was actually taken from DXB Interact for the past 6 months. And the reason why this rental is absolutely through the roof is because a lot of these villas in the lakes have actually been fully renovated and fully furnished, completely done from head to toe, which is why they have charged an extreme premium on these villas. But still, it is a statistic, and it's a statistic from the Dubai Land Department. So 4-bed yearly rental, 550, 1,100,000 for a 5-bed in the lakes. Here we've got meadows on the side. 4-bed, the average for the past 6 months, 376,000, and for a 5-bed, 395,000. So when looking at an investment standpoint, right, Palmiera is a lot cheaper to get into compared to these older communities in Dubai. And just to give you guys a little bit perspective as well, I'm going to go back to the cluster map. If we actually look here, it looks very bad. But Villa 181, I know it's a bit hard to see. It's actually very hard to see. Oh, wow. On the screen, it's very hard to see. But here we've got Villa 181, which is right here. This villa, I can see it on my screen, but you guys can't see it. This Villa 181 was actually sold at exactly 1,300 dirhams per square foot on December 24 of 2024, which is, as of this date, was just 3 months ago for a premium villa 4-bed that is directly on the lake, on the lagoon actually. And this just gives you a perspective of what villa you can get for 1,300 dirhams per square foot, right? And now, most importantly, so now we're going to be talking about the floor plans right here. Now, as already mentioned, we've got 4 and 5 beds in Palmiera 1. And for 4 and 5 beds, we have got 3 different types. We've got the contemporary, chamfered, and the classical. The classical is known to be a little bit bigger on the plot, whereas it's a little bit smaller on the built-up area. But contemporary and chamfered are bigger on the built-up area, but a little bit smaller on the plot. And I'll illustrate as we go along. So another difference, before I dive into this, is that there's also the 5 beds come with a basement, whereas none of the 4 beds actually come with a basement. However, all the 4 beds come with a second floor, which is roughly like on average 700 square foot. So this is a chamfered 4-bedroom in Palmiera. The total built-up area for this is 6,261 square feet, with a plot of approximately 8,000 to 9,000 square foot on the plot. And you guys can feel free to actually pause this video and go over this, floor plan yourself. Even you can contact me on the details above. I can send you the full thing on WhatsApp so you can have a clear image. But as you guys know me personally, I like to do mostly of the investment, but I will walk you through it a little bit. Here we've got the ground floor. We've got the entry from this area right here. And on the ground floor, you also have your very own pool. And if your villa is directly on the lagoon, then you should have an entryway, which is right here, to actually access the lagoon. Secondly, we've got the classical. This is bigger, a lot bigger actually on the plot, around 10,000 square foot. And the thing is, you guys can see right here, the built-up is way smaller. It's 5,843 as comparison to the chamfered. Next, we've got contemporary, a lot bigger on the built-up as well, 6,247. Still has a second floor because, as I mentioned, guys, 4 beds come, all of them with a second floor, but they don't come with a basement, and you'll see right in a minute. For 5 bedrooms in Palmiera, we'll start with the chamfered. Here we've got a basement, which is approximately 1,700 square foot of built-up area. In addition to that, we see that the basement, very uniquely enough, actually connects with the back garden, which we didn't really see with the 4-bed at all, actually. But if we can come a little bit closer right here, we see that this right here is your internal space of the basement. And when you walk right out, you should have access to your back garden with your pool and your entryway to the lagoon in of itself, right? And yet again, look, there's a ground floor, first floor, but no second floor. There are, of course, 5 beds that do come with a second floor, like this one right here, which is Classical 1. Classical 1 has an average built up of 8,647. The reason why it's bigger than Classical 2, which I'm also going to show you, is because it comes with a second floor. Yet again, guys, the basement directly connects to the garden. Now we have Classical 2. Boom, it's completely erased actually, the second floor. And the total built up on this is 7,753 square foot. Yet again, guys, please pause the video or you can send me a message if you want to take a closer look at this floor plan in of itself. Next, we have got Contemporary, which is 8,689 to be precise. Also comes with a second floor. The second floor right here, guys, is 512 square foot. Also comes with a basement, like all of the 5 bedrooms do in the Palmiera. So that's really it for this video. Just as a summary, we have compared Palmiera to the communities and villas like Lakes and Meadows, and we saw that the entry price point for Oasis was a lot cheaper in comparison to these 2 communities. In addition to that, we also know that Oasis is going to be Emaar's first ever lagoon community located in Dubai South, and handover, right? Handover for this is going to be in Q4 2027. The payment plan for this is 80/20. And without further ado, guys, if you guys want to pick up a unit like this in the secondary market, we do have a few options available. So if you'd like any more questions and would like a deeper analysis of Palmiera, then you can contact me on my WhatsApp above or down below, and we can schedule in a quick call to talk further about this.